Waiting on a response.
You are the city, but I mean, you know, Cantelon said as soon as he heard about this, he immediately picked up the phone and called the president of Island Timberlands. So, you know, that for me, that's part of the problem.
Was this sign here before?
No, apparently this sign came up probably last night, I think. Yeah.
But this is still the park.
We're still within the park boundaries, Englishman River Falls Park.
So are you've got a group out here today. Are we going to continue down that trail, or?
No, I think not. I mean, there's a warning, and we'll heed that warning. You can hear the chainsaws going from here, but we're within the park boundary. This is public property, so but we'll heed those warnings. There's another route in. We can apparently see the cutting that's happening right adjacent to the park in the buffer zone for the park itself. So the most valuable, arguably the most valuable timber in the world, our old growth, is this is not going as jobs. And Ron Cantelon, the minister responsible in the House in question period, said this is about jobs. And I agree with him there. This is about exporting our jobs for minimum value to anyone here, and to you know, to the maximum risk of our watersheds, our water source, and of course our cherished parks. It's a big problem. Big problem, and government's complicit in that. It's telling when the minister doesn't go and talk to the local councillors or the watershed groups. He calls the president of Island Timberlands instead, and then he repeats his line in the House and the legislature. That's a big problem. That's ignoring the community.
What did you see over there?
Well, do you see the clear cut? No. It's the heavy equipment's been removed from the area today, so I'm assuming that they knew we were coming. So, but it's all flat in there. The trees are down, old trees, 500-year-old trees down.
To me, it's obvious that the forest companies in this area are extremely desperate when they have to go in to extract the last timber right to the park boundary, when they have to go into the riparian areas or our watersheds where we get our community drinking water from, to remove the last of the old growth Douglas firs and cedar trees. And in a last ditch attempt to get those dollar trees, that's all that's left. There are no old growth trees on the east side of Vancouver Island other than in these riparian areas that really and truly should be totally protected, and there should be an absolute end right now to all old growth logging.
You kind of spearheaded this little event out here. What's the purpose?
Well, I'm trying to correct some of the misinformation that was leveled in the legislature by Minister Cantelon, who's now responsible for the Private Managed Forest Land Act. He claims there was basically local assent and local consultation around the cutting in the middle of the river, and now the cutting on the boundary of the park, and that's simply not true. We've got local members, local councils here. They had no knowledge of this. There's been no approval locally. There's been a resolution by the City of Parksville against this. So I need to correct that in the House. Coming out here to look for myself, I think being on the ground is important, and I'm happy that local politicians have come out too, because it shows that these are issues that are important to the people of the region, and they're not being listened to by this government.
Island Timberlands says that it's private land, and they're following rules over and above what they should be.
Yeah, well, they won't show us those rules. We've already asked for them. And so we have Island Timberlands claiming that they're following rules that they're not showing us. The rules under the Private Managed Forest Land Act are weak. They're much weaker than what would happen. And this stuff wouldn't be happening under the tree farm license regime. And this government has removed 500 square miles of land from the protection of public tree farm licenses in since 2003. So everyone on Vancouver Island needs to know that the government is not standing up for protecting watersheds. They're standing up for the company that they created.
Mark Lefebvre, from anybody specific, one-on-one or one-on a group. There's been no consultation. Mark Lefebvre from Parksville is our chair. I was for the last couple of years. But what I understand is there was some agreement put into place in 2002 with the old owner of the property, Weyerhaeuser.
Right.
But, you know, you might say there's different levels of stewardship between different companies. Don't want to really go there. Yeah. But there's been no current consultation. This
government, through their investment management corp, is the biggest shareholder in the company, Island Timberlands.
Sorry?
Government.
The government.
This government. In 2005, they purchased this government through the IMC, the Liberal government, through the IMC, that's the Investment Management Corp. That's the investment arm of the Ministry of Finance. They purchased 25% of Island Timberland. They did it through a numbered company out of Manitoba, which is highly suspicious. Why would you try to hide it? The Hoopachesset, Judith Sayers, is going to court on that. So you'd think a major shareholder might have some say in how the operation's being done. Just the priorities are skewed.
I really have to wonder about the priorities.
Yeah.